What are your priorities as councilman for Ward 4?
So the top four priorities I've talked about have been really expanding our recreation and entertainment for our young people here in Jacksonville. Everybody, but I want to concentrate on our young people, our families, our young adults, and our teenagers. I would like to see us open up our entertainment venues, incentivizing businesses to come in so that the people that live here don't have to travel to places like Wilmington and New Bern to find something to do. If you live here, you should be able to have your leisure time activities in the city you live in. So I think we have to do a better job of building that up. That also keeps the economy here in Jacksonville and builds our economy. Secondly, I would like to see there be more open communication between elected officials and the citizens that put them in the seat. And that's why when I go out and talk to people, I give them my card with a number where they can reach me. Because if there's a problem in my ward, I want people to be able to call me and let me know that they have a problem. And I'm accountable to the people that put me in the seat. I think we need to get back to that point where the people that voted you into the seat should be able to touch you when they need to and talk to you about the issues that are on their mind, that they're having problems with. And not only that, if you represent an area, you should be out and about in that area, seeing it with your own two eyes. People have heard me say this, so I don't want to sound robotic when I say it, but I don't know another way to say it. You should be out and about, seeing it with your own two eyes, meeting the community, hearing it with your own two ears. And that's just simply something I learned in the Marine Corps. Leaders have to be seen. You have to be out and about. You have to be where the people are, meeting them where they are, seeing things with your own eyes. Basically, the way we said in the Marine Corps is don't expect what you don't inspect. And then those community service organizations that are there to assist people with the issues they have should be user-friendly, accessible, and advertised. It does no good to have community service organizations that are assisting people if people don't know they exist and they can't access them. You know, for instance, if we have organizations or agencies that are supposed to be for the elderly, but our elderly don't use the internet or don't have internet access, and you ask about the program, they say, well, it's on Facebook or there's a link on internet. Okay, but if your elderly community doesn't use the internet, doesn't use Facebook, then it's not really for the elderly. You have to make it accessible to the people you say it's for. That's just one example. The third point is I want to see us refine our emergency response and disaster relief. Florence was a huge eye-opener for a lot of people. And I know that it's something we're working on, but there is room for improvement. I would like to see our city government become the hub of the recovery effort if we ever have a disaster like that again, and be able to answer the call for the citizens of our city and make our recovery effort just be more organized and happen in a much quicker fashion. Obviously, when you look out, you still see the tarps on a lot of houses in our city, and a lot of people felt alone. And that one right there is a very emotional point for me, because I walked out and I went into a lot of homes, and I've seen the mold in people's homes, and I've seen people living in houses in our city where there were literally roofs missing and people living in houses in our city after the storm, after FEMA was gone. and feeling like they had no one they can turn to. That is not the way that should be done. I have a serious issue with that. I just do. And people can be upset with me for talking about that, but we have to be honest with ourselves about where we fail certain people. And we need to do something about it. Get out of our feelings and do something about it. Lastly, we need to do something about our residential housing capacity, quality, and affordability. We don't necessarily have all the housing we need for the number of families we have here, and that is evident by the number of families that can't find the appropriate housing they need. It is evident by when you talk about certain housing areas, and I'll just use an example that I think is known by most people. When you say the name New River, many people know that housing area, and I know that's not in my ward, but this is one everybody knows. When you say New River, many people know that the quality of housing over there is below the quality of housing many people should or want to live in. But yet, and I'm talking people from the citizen level up to the government elected official level, but yet we're having trouble holding people accountable for that type of housing. And that's not the only one. We have other places in the city. And I'm not saying nothing's being done, so I'm not trying to pick on anybody. But we just need to do better. We need to create standards that people need to hold people to when it comes to housing here, because we need to do better by our citizens. And then affordability. Pricing for housing here in Jacksonville needs to be reasonable and practical. People here make minimum wage. There are people here making $7.25 or $7.50 an hour because we're a service-based community. We have an abundance of restaurants and other service-based jobs here, construction, so forth and so on, contracting jobs. And I know some of them make more than $7.25, but there are people making $7.25 in this community. And then you have 2-bedroom apartments that cost $900 or 2-bedroom trailers that cost $800. I know this because I've tried to help people find housing here. I work with real estate agents that try to help people find housing here. And when you're charging people that kind of money, and that is not the type of money the average person makes here in Jacksonville, something's wrong. Those two things don't go together. And so we need to start taking a look at what is going on in our city and how do we get the affordability to match the income here. Some people talk about affordable housing. And when you say that, people start thinking Section 8 and HUD. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but that's not the one. That's not the only thing I'm getting after. I'm getting after what I call, and I know the name is long, but I call it local area income appropriate housing. Meaning the pricing of housing is appropriate for the income that people make in that area. Meaning people go to work every day and they make a certain amount of income. And if that's the standard income that people are making in that area, then the housing should be appropriately priced for the amount that people are making in that area. We have people that make hourly wage here, a certain amount of hourly wage, a large amount of people that make a certain amount of hourly wage. We have junior enlisted folks that make a certain amount of basic housing allowance. And we have a retirement community that's living off their retirement and their disability. And that's the money they make. They didn't set that amount. That's what they make. And so housing in this area should be appropriately priced based on what people in this area make. And we need to be doing what we can to make sure that people are not fleecing people in the area when it comes to that. So those are the points. And once again, I don't have all the answers. So I'm not trying to sell people a dream that I can't deliver on, but I do want to do my research and work with people who know the answer to these questions and get after it the best way we can. So, we have work to do. That's what it is, but I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to do the work. I'm willing to try to figure it out.